and I'm making money whilst I was driving to breakfast. I realized I was making money while I was eating my breakfast. I realized I was making money while I was changing my daughter's nappy. Money was rolling in and I wasn't working. $7.95. That was it. But let me tell you, I felt like the richest man alive. Because if we flash back to the end of 2013, there I am sitting at my dinner table with the first sunlight coming up at Palm Jumeirah in Dubai. And I'm about to have one hell of a morning. Because if we rewind 7 months, I'm in Sydney, my wife's 6 months pregnant. What do I decide to do? I make the ballsy decision, maybe borderline crazy decision, to pack up and leave everything familiar and fly to Dubai to set up a new business. Now, it was just me and one acquaintance in my corner, all to start a completely new business and what was really going to be a new life for my soon-to-be family. As I just felt tick-tock, the clock was absolutely ticking and I had less than 12 weeks to land in Dubai and set up my new personal training business to be able to make it rain. And I felt like there was no pressure, right? That was certainly not the case. Because then I had to jet back to Sydney just in time for my wife, the real hero of this story, that gives birth to our beautiful first daughter. And the struggles we faced, the sweat, the tears, that's our story that's etched in our memories. Because as we fly to Dubai and I'm immediately start grinding back away, training clients from dawn till dusk, literally 6 days a week, I knew that I wanted more. I wanted to be able to have more money, but I really wanted more freedom, more impact. Because training clients in a gym face-to-face felt like I had golden handcuffs. They were well paid, but it really was a prison nonetheless. And if I really cue to that early morning at the end of 2013, I'm at my dinner table hitting send on an email that could change everything. Before I sent it, my finger stopped. It was a panic, it was a fear, it was a hesitation before I could send that email to my measly small email list that was selling my first online program. And it was priced at a humble $7.95, and it was literally packed with everything that I knew about getting someone into incredible shape from my experience as a physique coach that had coached CEOs, politicians, actors, a UFC fighter, an Arab sheikhs, and even a world championship bikini model. And as Lauren was standing at the door waiting for me ever so patiently, as it was my one day off for the week and we're off to our favorite cafe to enjoy a little time together as a family. There on the car ride to the cafe, my phone started to make a sound that I actually never heard before. And it was this cha-ching, irresponsible, I know, maybe. I sneak a peek at my phone while driving and it was my PayPal app. And it was the first sale. And then there was another. And then there was another. And I'm making money whilst I was driving to breakfast. I realized I was making money while I was eating my breakfast. I realized I was making money while I was changing my daughter's nappy. Money was rolling in and I wasn't working. And I've closed 7-figure deals. And you know what really stands out to me was those first sales, that epiphany that when you finally get the ball rolling, there is nothing quite like it. But the real lesson I had to learn the hard way, was always chasing more money, more status, more trophies on the shelf. All of that is how the hell do we know when to stop and actually ask ourselves, what's enough? When I started my online fitness coaching business, $10,000 a month would have been my golden ticket. I thought that was the absolute dream. I hit that, and like clockwork, I set my sights on $100,000 a month because I saw others doing that. I was in business masterminds. I saw these other people in the industry doing those sorts of numbers. And a few years after my first online dollar in Dubai, I was in Canggu Beach. See, when I started my online fitness coaching business, I thought $10,000 a month would be my golden ticket, the absolute dream. But then when I hit that, just like clockwork, I set my sights onto $100,000 a month. A few years after that first sale in Dubai, I was on Canggu Beach in Bali. And then life had taken a turn. We had moved to Bali from Dubai. We're chasing dreams of world travel and giving my business, my online business, the legroom that it really needed. Bali wasn't just a postcard destination. It was a financial safety net to get this next chapter of our lives together. And so fast forward to that day on the beach, I'm building sandcastles with my daughters. And then I get a message from my assistant. And the monthly financials have just come in and she sent me this spreadsheet and we'd cracked it. $100,000 a month. And just like a reflex, my first thought was, I wonder how fast I can get to $1 million a month. Now, to be smart enough to have all that money, you have to be stupid enough to want it, J.K. Chesterton said. And so thankfully, I've done the therapy, I've seen the healers, I've tripped on the psychedelics, and I've devoured more books than I could probably poke a stick at. And thankfully, something had finally sunk in. And I thought, enough is enough. Because then I sat there letting that sink in. And after I just reached the point, I hit $100,000 a month, and I immediately then thought, let's go for $1 million a month. I then had the next thought, hang on, enough is enough. As there are two reasons why I think that I thought that. One, it was a gut feeling, and the other is a practical philosophy that I want to be able to live by. So firstly, it's that visceral moment you say enough is enough. It's that moment when you hit a wall, you can't help but be able to just throw your hands up in the air in frustration and despair, and you reach a point where you just can't tolerate the bullshit anymore that you're putting yourself through, and that's when you say enough is enough. But it's also you've hit rock bottom, you've crushed by the weight of whatever's been dragging you down, and you make a decision, you make a pledge that you won't tolerate it any longer. You're done with the pain, you're done with the struggle, and you resolve to fix it and do whatever it takes. And the second reason, I think saying enough is enough, it's a compass. It's a guiding philosophy for you to choose to live the life that you want to live. The suffering, the unhappiness, that gnawing feeling in your gut at 2 a.m. that whispers you're not happy with the life that you're actually living. It's all driven by that constant craving for what you do not have. That endless striving, the thirst for more. That's what's making you miserable. But what if you could actually be peaceful, be fulfilled and content with what you already have while you're still watching success unfold in front of you? I think that's the real trick. This is the insights that I was having. This is why I wanted to share this with you right now. Because don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we should all just sit on our hands and accept whatever life tosses our way. Far from it. I know it's about, well, for me, it's about knowing what's in your control and then what's not, and then going all in on the former. So when it comes to achieving anything, I think of the process, objective, strategy, and then tactics. So for me, I know this might sound weird, but this is just the way I go by these days. I don't want to be happy. Happiness is not directly what I'm actually trying to achieve. Freedom, equanimity, peace, these are the feelings I feel like are more what I'm actually really trying to point at. But if I had to have one word, for me, in my chapter of my life right now, I want freedom.
If you've made it this far, seriously, thank you. I appreciate you being here. But real quick, if you are a coach or consultant who wants to be able to build a self-growing business without bloated team, a big ad budget, or working more than 3 hours a day, then make sure that you hit subscribe. Because everything I share here is built for founders just like you. Because it's likely that you are done chasing bigger and ready to build better. So let's get back to it.
And the way that I think about it is all we really want is freedom, don't we? But why is this so elusive? If you are so smart, if you are so good, why are you not living the life that you want to? That was the question I was asking myself. And I believe that true freedom is downstream from financial freedom. And I know some people might not like me saying that, but that's just my belief right now. Because it's not about stacking cash for just the heck of it. It's about using that dough to actually grow into your best self, to give you the resources to be able to then actually spread the love. It's been on both ends of this spectrum. I've been dead broke, crashing on sofas, heart racing over bills. I've been there. But now being financially independent, and let me tell you, the difference is absolutely night and day. More freedom equals more chances for you to actually give back. I think that's why we're really here at the end of the day. But this is where I went wrong for so much of my 20s and my 30s. I didn't embody the truth that life really is a journey with multiple chapters. And in each chapter, a man must focus on different aspects of his life. But this is where I went wrong for so much of my 20s and my 30s. I didn't embody the truth that life is a journey with multiple chapters, and that in each chapter, a man must focus on different aspects for his life to grow and find fulfillment. As we move through these stages, it's important to take stock of the key areas that really compromise our existence. And I'm talking about our relationships, our career, our health, our personal growth, our spirituality, and then there's so much more. But when we enter a new chapter, there is often one area that demands a primary focus of energy. So perhaps it's building a career in our 20s. Maybe it's starting our family in our 30s or pursuing a passion in our later years. Whatever the priority is, we must give it our full effort and attention. And so, or you could be a complete nut job and just do like everything in your 20s, like what I did when it came to multiple moves around the world, starting a family, building multiple businesses. But anyway, that's it for another episode. Yeah, the way that I think about it is when we have a central goal, we can't neglect the other vital parts of our life. So I'm not exactly sure when in my 20s, but I really became disgusted by how many people were compromising in their lives. It's a typical story that we've all seen. A man becomes rich, yet loses his health or dies early. Or he climbs the ladder of success only to have pitiful relationships with his children and now ex-wife. The cultural norms tell us that we pour everything into one aspect at the expense of all of the others. Yet we risk watching our life crumble around us because of that belief. And that's where the path then is really to identify the critical area of our current chapter and make it our North Star, whilst still tending thoughtfully to all of the other pillars that support a well-rounded life. And we must find that harmony that we can sense of the proportion of what it is that we're really driving to pursue or what our driving ambition is. Because for me, finding contentment is a revolutionary act. It's about being okay with what you've got and not always chasing what you don't. Enough isn't a universal measure. And I think this is where so many people go wrong. This is where I went wrong. It's a deeply personable. It's not about capping your dreams, but it's about valuing what's already actually in your grasp. And so it might sound dark, but the practice that brings it all into perspective for me is to picture myself on my deathbed. And I ask myself, what's really going to matter? And I bet it won't be my bank balance or how many cars I had. And it'll be more about the depth of the relationships, the peace within myself, the simple joys I found along the way. As this isn't going to just be a feel-good talk, it's about really cutting through the veil of delusion that we can so easily get caught up in. And it's about finding worth in our presence, not because it's perfect, but because it's ours. But again, don't get me wrong. There is nuance here. I'm not slamming the door on ambition. Ambition can be used as the rocket fuel propelling us to achieve amazing things. But, or however, and it is a big but and however, it's got to be the right kind of ambition, because success isn't just about ticking off a box or nailing that outcome that you've been chasing. It's deeper than that. It's about the intention fueling your actions, the motivation that gets you out of your bed when it's dark and cold, the part of you that keeps pushing when no one else is actually watching. We're talking about goals that don't just glimmer from a distance, but that resonate inside of your bones, the goals that speak to who you really are and what you truly value. The kind of ambition that feeds your soul, not just your ego. It's the difference between chasing empty trophies to living a life that is actually purposeful. Finding that balance between ambition and contentment. It's a dance. It's a dance, and for me, it's a dance with two left feet. But most of the days, it's going to feel awkward and clumsy. And I'm still myself trying to learn the steps, stumbling more often than I'd probably like to admit. But every now and then I do catch myself, and this is why I believe you can easily too, is you catch yourself in that rhythm. Because when I do, I'm flooded with gratitude. And I know it sounds like I've lost my mind right now, but the truth is I've lost most of my craving for money. I see it now as a byproduct, not the goal. It's what happens when you're in alignment. It's what happens when you're actually offering consistent value to the world. Because the real currency, the currency that I'm wanting to be able to get, is peace. Knowing that when the noise fades out, that when you're alone with your own thoughts, you can sit there silently and feel whole. Because the problem is, because your mind will fight you. It'll craft every excuse under the sun. It'll whisper to you why you shouldn't go deeper, why you should settle, why you should give up before you even start. And I'll tell you to follow the script. So for me, it was giving myself the space, the stillness, the solitude to hear that quiet, truest voice that's inside, the one that knows what the best next step is, even when you don't want to actually listen to it. So you keep asking yourself, I keep asking myself, Are my goals really mine? Do they reflect what I want, what I believe in, and what I stand for? Or am I just running on autopilot, chasing a mirage society has actually sold to me? Because the truth is, the only ambition worth having is the one that feels like home. The one that even when everything else falls apart, that still makes you feel like you're exactly where you're meant to be.
All right, that's it for today. And if this did hit home for you today, and if you are building a business that's meant to give you more money and more freedom, then I want you to be able to do two things before you go. One, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because it'll be a bummer if you missed out on everything else to come. Number two, grab the link in the description and be able to book in your free demo so you can see the exact systems, the exact process, and you can be able to install it inside of your business. Because remember, this channel is for coaches and creators who want a daily income, simple systems, and to be able to take time off. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.